Grimerica Show. The guys chat with Caleb Hanks, creator of GrayStreet and co-host of the Gralien Report.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica Show. We're coming back to you from the igloo here, and with me as always is Graham. How's it going tonight, Graham?
I'm doing good. A bit freaked out. I just drove through a rainstorm to get here, and the city's flooding, like absolutely flooding.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at that on online at some of the pictures and the videos of the. I think it's actually creeped up over the lower level of the bridge now, and there's been tens of thousands of people evacuated.
Yeah, it's pretty weird being in the middle of a city and being like blocks away from people who are getting evacuated. And luckily I live on a hill, so I'm okay.
Yep, and I'm out. We're actually outside city limits at the igloo here, so we're going to be just fine out here. I think we are on water, but it's not gonna. I don't think we need to worry here.
Yeah, we're like 50 yards away from the water, though.
Yeah, but I can see it. It still looks okay there. See, it's okay. We'll be okay. Anyway, didn't you have something you wanted to clear up about our appearance on the Nat and Marie show?
Yeah, we were talking about Hillary Clinton on the Nat and Marie show, and as some of our listeners will know, Bill and Hillary have had an interest in UFOs, but I kind of jumped the gun a little bit and mentioned that Clinton had a sighting, and I was, as far as I know, I'm mistaken. I mean, you never know, maybe he has, but the two presidents that have are Reagan and Carter, and there's a lot on presidentialufos.com about the Clintons. So check that out for sure. There's quotes and quotes, and they've been interested in this topic for many years. But yeah, sorry about that. I kind of made a little blunder there. I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, well, we forgive you.
I do have a clip I want to play though, because as I mentioned, Clinton has been all over this topic. So I want to play a little clip of him giving a speech kind of about UFOs. This is from Grant Cameron and Neil Gould. Play this.
What I did say was that there really is no list, or there is a list. The secrets.
If there is one, I don't know it. I mean, the Roswell thing, I think, really was an illusion. I don't think it happened. I mean, I think there are rational explanations that I have succeeded, and I did attempt to find out if there were any secret government documents that reveal things, and if there were, they were concealed from me too. I wouldn't be the first president that underlings have lied to or that career bureaucrats have waited out. But there may be some career person sitting around somewhere hiding these dark secrets even from elected presidents. But if so, they successfully eluded me, and I'm almost embarrassed to tell you I did try to find out.
Clinton is the shit, man. They should just put him in fucking power forever.
I love that though, how he says there could be secret keepers behind the scenes and like he didn't even know about it. So it's kind of like that, above the president. Presidents don't have a need to know. Anyways, if you want to find out more about that, like Grant Cameron's website, the presidentialufo.com, there's a list of all the presidents. You click on them and it's got everything that they've got to do with UFOs listed down there. Super easy to navigate, and there's loads of information. Hillary Clinton's got quite a few quotes on there too.
Yeah, we should. You can link to that in the show notes, and then we should try and get him on sometime. I'd like to pick his brain.
Yeah, for sure. He's a great guy.
So while we're on the subject of presidents, this NSA shit is still all over the place. Actually, most people don't even seem to care, which is kind of funny to me. But they don't really see it as the tip of the iceberg, I suppose, like we do. But I do have Obama's response. From just the other night here.
On Americans.
Some people say, well, Obama was this raving liberal before. Now he's, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney sometimes says, he took it all lock, stock, and barrel. My concern has always been not that we shouldn't do intelligence gathering to prevent terrorism, but rather, are we setting up a systems of checks and balances?
This afternoon...
It seems like perhaps he doesn't really address it at all, I guess. He sort of just sidesteps it.
Yeah. Yeah, here, I've got one from him before he was president. Let's listen to this. See how it's changed.
I will provide our intelligence and law enforcement agencies with the tools they need to track and take out the terrorists without undermining our Constitution and our freedom. That means no more illegal wiretapping of American citizens. No more national security letters to spy on citizens who are not suspected of a crime. No more tracking citizens who do nothing more than protest a misguided war. No more ignoring the law when it is inconvenient. That is not who we are. And it's not what is necessary to defeat the terrorists. And what I can say...
Sorry, I can't help but laugh a little bit. Now, this isn't about Obama or partisanship or anything like that. Like, it doesn't matter who would have been coming into president, what party they belong to. Like, they don't control it. They don't have any choice in this.
No, he's just there for 4 years or 8 years, and he's out. And you know, it's funny, but I'm pretty sure like the president is supposed to be just an elected representative for the people to take the people's cases to Congress, is what it used to be. Nowadays, it seems it's more like a, I don't even know what you'd call it. A
puppet show?
Puppet, yeah, puppet master. Well, a puppet for the puppet master, I suppose.
So maybe Clinton's right then. There's a bunch of secret keepers.
Oh, guaranteed. Fuck, guaranteed he's right, man. I guarantee it. I got this clip from a U.S. Senator about this Monsanto too. My wife just fucking hates them. I don't like Monsanto either. Like I've talked about some GMOs and shit in the past on here, but don't confuse that with me being pro Monsanto. I'm just I think the research and the science is there is a place for that. But so anyway, here's Senator Johnny Tester with his thoughts on the recent Monsanto Protection Act, as it's been dubbed.
The House tells the USDA to ignore any judicial ruling regarding the planting of genetically modified crops. Its supporters are calling it farmer assurance provision. But all it really assures is a lack of corporate liability.
So obviously he's not too fond of the idea.
Hey, have you heard about that documentary called Genetic Roulette?
No, I just watched Sirius the other day again, though.
No, let's here. I got a clip here, preview of Genetic Roulette.
Experimenting. The havoc that it will cause will be across the entire spectrum of disease.
What the problem was is I guess he said that they weren't able to process the food correctly and they would bloat up and die from it.
They can put it on the market without telling the FDA or to consumers.
It became clear that the FDA had been lying repeatedly since 1992.
It's not just an agriculture issue, it's not just a food industry issue, it's an ever-living creature issue.
And if we don't do anything within a decade, every single major crop with any significant market size is going to be genetically modified, and we're not going to know it.
The world can get rid of it. The world should get rid of it. The sooner the better, now.
We look at what they're eating, and we take out the genetically modified foods and the industry foods, and they all get better. It never doesn't work.
That's pretty serious stuff.
Let's. I actually have a reaction from Monsanto here I'd like to play. Let's see what their rebuttal is.
What is this?
Now this is a story all about how
our life is spent wiping sweat off our brow.
And we'd like to take a minute just to stop and say
what goes down on the farm in a typical day.
In central Kansas, born and raised on the family farm is where we spend most of our days, chilling out, feeding cattle morning and night, and all doctoring the one.
I'm just kidding. That's the Petersonfarmbros. I can't get enough of these guys on. They're fucking hilarious. Have you ever heard of them?
No, I haven't.
Or you should check it out. I'm going to put it in the show notes. Let's see. I'm gonna play another one here for you. I just found out about these guys the other day. Apparently, they're a big thing.
Is that an actual song about Monsanto or just farming?
No, it's just about farming. Oh yeah, listen. This shit is fucking hilarious, man. Here it comes. This one's fucking hilarious, man. You might have heard this one before.
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, I like that.
I'm just gonna skip ahead here.
What's for dinner? I say beef.
Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. I work out.
Side.
Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody. Gotta feed everybody.
I work out.
When I step to the bar,
Yeah.
this is what I see. All the hungry cattle are staring at me. I got passion for my plants and I ain't afraid to show it. Show it, show it, show it. I'm farming and I grow it.
Oh, that fuck. We'll link to that in the show notes. These guys are hilarious. You got to check them out. Yeah, I want to. I was looking for something for like the pro side. Like, why? I mean, why do the farmers buy the seeds in the first place? Or like, I don't know. It's hard to find. I couldn't find anything. No one's really saying. I couldn't even find anything from Monsanto. It seems tough.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Anyways, that's Genetic Roulette. I only played about half the trailer there, but I think that came out a few months ago.
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah.
Is it on YouTube or is it like a...
I think if you go to geneticroulettemovie.com, I think you can get it there.
Is it free?
Probably not.
Oh.
So when do we have RPJ coming up next? That's Red Pill Junkie, our regular contributor to Grimerica.
He's coming up next episode. Yeah, we're recording with him this weekend.
Oh, cool.
It'll be before the Scotty Roberts interview.
This weekend? Like in 2 days?
Yeah. Like I haven't even talked to him yet if we're going to do it on probably Saturday or Sunday. I don't know we'll talk about that later, but he's on the next episode anyway.
And you've got us on Audible now, eh?
Yeah, we're on, you can go to audibletrial.com/Grimerica. And you get a free book there. So Audible's kind of a show sponsor now, so we're happy to have them on board.
Yeah, I love audiobooks, as you know, and two of my favorite narrators are Stefan Rudnicki and Scott Brick. I can't help but mention those guys again, especially if you're into sci-fi books, that type of stuff. They do a lot of those narrations.
Yeah, I haven't listened to one in a while. I've got a bunch of I have that Cooking in the Kitchen with Einstein or whatever still to read. I did do that memory book. I forget what was that. That was it was written by Joshua Foer.
Yeah, you forgot about the memory book?
I forgot the title of the memory book. Fuck. I want to say it had Einstein in there somewhere.
Huh. I've got Sex at Dawn lined up.
Oh, yeah. That's, what's his name?
Christopher
Ryan, yeah. So, yeah, you can go through the website, too. That we've got Audible links there as well, but you can also just go to audibletrial.com/Grimerica. You get a free book. I think you do have to give your credit card info, but everything's free. If you cancel within 30 days, you still get your free book. But chances are you're not going to cancel.
No, the thing about Audible is you get a free credit every month anyway. So if you're going to listen to like 1 or 2 books a month, you're pretty much getting 2-for-1 deal anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone should check it out, and it supports Grimerica as well. That's one way you can support Grimerica. I've added a little Amazon. We joined up for Amazon affiliates, so we've got all the books from any of the authors that we've had on or that we've got coming up, like Micah Hanks's UFO Singularity. We've got
Scotty Roberts.
Yeah, Scotty Roberts.
Nick Redfern.
I didn't put his book on there yet. I just found out Nick was coming on today, so I'll add his book on there right away. But Dennis McKenna's is on there. Michael Cremo, we just booked him for the 25th of July. And, of course, Dennis is coming up the first week of July. We've got Scotty Roberts right away and Robbie Graham next week. So we're going to be busy here. At some point, we are going to have to slow down the pace. So you guys will have to bear with us on that. We've been going pretty hard here.
Yeah, but it's good to keep it going fast now. Get on that new and notable category in iTunes. So
yeah, and reviews help too. So if you guys find it in your heart to write us a review, that'd be great as well. So yeah, if you go to Amazon and you can just go to Amazon and search and get the books, sure. But if you go through the Grimerica website, then once again you're helping support the show, which is kind of important because we just went out and got a bunch of new gear. So we should be sounding better on this episode. I'm hoping. So.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get used to it, like shoving my face up to a mic here.
Maybe someone can email us in and let us know if the audio is any better, if it was worth the money in gear. Well, actually, I got the microphone for Father's Day from my lovely daughter and my wife, so that kind of set the ball rolling for us to set up our whole studio. So that was nice.
And what else did you get for Father's Day?
I got a nice my heart here on the wall, and I got these hands that say I love you this much, and a finger painted drawing.
And some healing?
No, I still haven't done my crystal healing session. We've been so busy, but I think I'm going to do it tomorrow night after the little one goes to sleep, because my wife went on Saturday. She went and she's a certified crystal healer of some sort. Now she's got her certificate. I didn't really read it, but she's certified, and she's going to give me a crystal healing over the weekend. So by the time next episode, I should be able to let you guys know how that went. Maybe I'll be like ascended and shit.
You're usually pretty skeptical about that stuff, though. But as you know, that's kind of right up my alley. I'm not ashamed to say so.
Yeah, I'm still skeptical, but she's my wife and I love her, so I'll let her try her voodoo on me.
I'm kind of the more new agey guy out of us, but and I got a good healing story actually, and it's kind of pertaining to Father's Day in a way because it was about my father. If you want to hear it,
do tell.
Yeah, so he was sick, like terminally sick with cancer in palliative care, and my sister and I took him to this Korean spiritual healer, like a energy kind of healer. And we went there for a couple sessions, and he ended up powering up this crystal ball for us, for my dad at his bedside. Anyways, he came out of palliative care and traveled around with my uncle, my aunt, and my mom for like 6 to 8 months. So, who knows, probably more than just that, obviously, that contributed to his well-being for a while there, but you never know. Interesting story.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I have heard a lot about the power of crystals and whatnot. I mean, obviously, there's something there. I mostly like to be skeptical just to get my wife's goat sometimes. So, do you want to talk about our little psychedelic soiree last night we tried to go to?
Sure, yeah, if you want. There's not much to talk about.
Yeah, we got denied at the door.
So here, I'll back up a bit.
I think it was because Graham looks like a cop, but let's hear Graham's side of what happened. After I drove all the way into the city for the event, by the way. I just want to state that.
So we there's this book launch. I think the book was called Decomposing the Shadow. I mean, I don't really want to advertise it yet because we weren't even allowed into the event, but I had signed up online through a meetup group. And I invited Darren to come down, and we were going to try and get some like interviewees for the podcast or talk to the author and tell them about how we're going to do the psychedelic episode and talk about entheogens and healing. And we get to the door, and I'm pulling my cash out, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, the event's full." And I'm like, "Well, I signed up online," and they're like, "Sorry, the event's full. We can't let you guys in." I guess I was looking a little too normal. I had my Pink Floyd shoes on and my crazy shirt. I mean,
yeah, but everyone there was fucking stoned on acid or mushrooms, and you come all physically fit with a nice haircut. I guarantee you. They thought we were narcs.
So anyways, I was going to tell them. I was going to say, look, we're doing this
we're podcast
and we want to do this interview, but I didn't think it was going to be worth it. So.
I don't know. You want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
Because I got a bunch of clips from this. I found some more audio from Bas Lansdorp there, the Mars One guy. That I want to go through a bit of that before we do the thing and get into Caleb. So let's take a quick break here.
All right.
And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes here, guys. Welcome back here, guys. So I tracked down some more audio on this Mars One, Bas Lansdorp. He's the guy in charge of it. Of course, that's the Humans to Mars, Forever to Die. That I think is a scam. And Graham, of course,
would go
in a heartbeat. After listening to this though, this guy I think he really thinks it's a good idea. Maybe it's not a scam, but I still think not much is going to come of it.
You're still obsessed with it though.
Yeah, I am still obsessed with it. That's for sure. So I'm gonna play a couple cuts of audio out of this interview here for you guys, and you guys can make up your mind for yourselves. So here's Mr. Lansdorp addressing the food problem the astronauts are going to face.
So they will find that habitable settlement, but there's a lot of work to be done. They will need to do a lot of construction. They will deploy the rest of the solar panels. They will install the hallways between the modules. They will activate the greenhouse equipment to grow their own food on Mars. Of course, they will have emergency rations, but we hope that they can rely on their own food production.
So there you have it. They're hoping they won't have to rely on the emergency rations. Of course, what happens if they do is my question. How much emergency rations are they going to have? He didn't really get into that, but he did find time to mention how many people he's charged $40 for an application. Are you one of them yet, Graham?
No, I haven't taken that step yet.
Are you gonna represent Grimerica on Mars?
It just seems a bit like winning the lottery, you know? Like
yeah,
really just you never know.
And just about 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks and 2 days ago actually, we launched our astronaut application process. We invite people from all over the world to apply to become one of our astronauts. And the response on that has been truly tremendous. In the first 1.5 weeks, we have received more than 78,000 applications. 78,000 people have subscribed to become one of our astronauts from all over the world, from more than 120 different countries. And this was in the first 1.5 weeks. And we're waiting to announce the current figures until we have a nice round figure. But people are so interested in this. Space interests people as long as you do exciting things.
So he goes on to talk about how they're going to choose one person from 4 different countries and 2 men and 2 women and send them off to Mars. So I guess it's almost like an arranged marriage. Out of those 4, 2 of them need to couple up or wait a couple years for the next batch, I guess. But the next batch is probably never coming.
Why do you say that?
Well, I don't know. It's either that or you spend the rest of your life alone.
No, why do you say the next batch is never coming?
Well, let's see if the first batch even goes before we get too into it.
Well, your chances are probably just as good as a successful marriage in North America.
Well, yeah, maybe, I suppose. You're signing up right now?
I'm registering right now, but it's taking quite a while, so there might be a problem here.
So you're just going to give away $40?
Well, it hasn't asked for any money yet.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's going to ask for some money. So anyway, I got another clip here. Someone asked him how he's if he thinks people are going to get bored with it after after the launch and the landing. It could get kind of stale. So here's Bas Landorp's response to that.
So the question is, after Apollo 11, there was a quick decline in the interest of the audience. How are we going to solve that for the 3rd and the 4th mission? And of course, sustaining the people who are now living on Mars the rest of their lives.
The rest of your life.
So we've talked about that with media people from all over the world, with experts. And the first answer is, we will make this a mission about humanity going to Mars. So these are not just people that were selected by the space agency. We will involve the audience in picking the people. After, of course, we've made sure that only the qualified people are there. And so these will not just be people. This will be our TV friends, which we follow in the training. Our TV friends will be going to Mars. And that will assure, according to all the media experts we talked to, a much longer interest than was there in the Apollo missions.
So he's basically claiming that people this will be more interesting than the moon landing, I suppose. I guess the moon landing was only once, and Survivor has been on TV for an awful long fucking time.
True that. My registration was successful, so I'll let you know the next time we talk about this. I'll have to go through the whole email, check your link and all that.
Did they charge you?
Not yet. I'm sure I have to do some sort of application.
You probably have to do a video. You can do one like the Petersonfarmbros. So, of course, it's going to take a lot more than your $40 now, and I guess 100,000 other people's $40. I mean, $4 million is really peanuts when it comes to trying getting to space.
Yeah. I mean, you must get something out of it. Don't you get a little trinket or something back?
Well, you get to go to... no, I don't think
you
you
don't
get
get-
fuck all, man. Nothing. Sorry. Better luck next time.
Okay, like maybe you get like instant feed, or like do you get to see stuff before anybody else? No, nothing.
I don't know. I haven't tried to register. You tell us next
Okay,
week.
I'll tell you.
Here's where he figures he's going to get the rest of his money to keep this shit going. Because, I mean, you can't just throw these fuckers on Mars and forget about them. You got to keep funding it. Like, even if the show goes under, he's got to keep these people alive on Mars. They're kind of his problem once they're gone, I think. No?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
of
Show got
course.
canceled. You're on your own.
Yeah, by your timeline, you're about 3 years away from your first launch, and there won't be any people on that launch, so you don't quite have that same human element to gin up interest. So where's the money coming from for the first unmanned launch with such a close timeline?
Well, this is our biggest challenge. So the peak interest will be when humans leave and when humans land. So we have already substantial interest, also from the media. We're talking
And
to.
Graham's
I just came
$40.
from LA, where we're talking to people about the selection format, because we'll first have our experts determine which of the candidates that we have on our website are good. But once there are only qualified people left, we want to involve the audience in deciding who are our envoys of mankind to the next planet. Because this is the most important election ever, and we believe that people should have a say in that. So that there will already be a lot of excitement, but you're absolutely right, we won't make the 6 billion before we need it. So there we need to convince investors, partners, sponsors, media companies that this is actually going to happen, because they say if you can demonstrate to us that this will really happen, then the money is not an issue. So our plan is to take small steps, so having the first conceptual design studies done by our suppliers now, showing those results, so showing the additional technical readiness to our investors, asking them and our partners for more funds to go to the detailed design, and that way, step by step, working towards financing, finally pre-financing the $6 billion that we need to send the first humans. But that's what you just point out is definitely our biggest challenge.
The money always seems to be the biggest challenge, eh?
Yep.
$6 billion. He says he's got the money lined up if he can prove he's going, though. What do you think? You believe him? You're a part of Mars One now. You're like a
yeah,
team
just
member.
about. Yeah, I just gotta pay my $40 and I'm
Maybe
already
you send,
registered,
ask
so.
for like a hat or a T-shirt or something. And of course, the last biggest question of what do you think Mr. Lansdorp has to say about himself going to Mars maybe one day, Graham? What do you think? You think he's going to join you there?
I doubt it.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Time's up, I think.
Baz, I have a
he's trying to
question
get
for
out of
you.
it.
Yeah.
In what sequence will you be going to Mars?
Yeah, I started off my presentation by telling you that I started working on this because I wanted to go to Mars. There's a few reasons why I will not be going. First of all, I have a really nice girlfriend, and she's not coming with me, and I don't want to go without her. But actually, more importantly, I think, I just told you that we will be sending mankind's envoys to the next planet. So the audience, you will determine who is going to Mars, because, as I said, it's the most important election ever, and I think it would be truly wrong if I would jump queue and take one of the seats. So, yeah, I'll stay right here.
Of course, he's going to stay right here.
Yeah, he's got to run the show from down there, right?
Yeah, I guarantee you he worked out that answer before he even started this Mars one.
Oh, of
'Cause he's
course,
like, fuck that shit. I am not going to Mars. That's like he couldn't answer that any better. That is 100% scripted. I wonder how many times he's had to say that.
Not many, I don't think.
No, you don't think I think that'd be like the first, if he comes on here, that's the first thing I'm asking him. Why aren't you going?
Yeah, but you wouldn't go if you were organizing this whole thing. You wouldn't jump queue and go, would you?
Why not? It's his party. He's talking about how great it is, and
Yeah, but that's like I don't know.
well, we'll have more on that as we roll along anyway, because like we say, Graham has just signed up live on the recording to Mars One. So.
And Darren's obsessed with the subject.
Oh yeah, because I still think it's a scam. We'll see. If he is, he's playing it off well, but I suppose that would bring us to the man of the hour, Mr. Caleb Hanks.
Yeah, Caleb, Micah's brother and co-host for the Gralien Report.
Yeah, exactly, and creator of GrayStreet, the GrayStreet webcomic over at GralienReport.com as well.
And all the music that they do, or at least some of the music. And I mean, I think Open Minds is even using his music now.
Yeah, he does. He makes his own dubstep and shit. We kind of get into that in the interview. It sounds
cool.
tricky. Yeah, it is pretty cool. And then he plays in a bluegrass band as well. So we met Caleb at Paradigm Symposium last year. And he's quite the individual. He's fucking hilarious. One of the funniest guys you'll meet. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him again this year. If I can make it down, hopefully everything comes together with that, and we can make it down there, and maybe get you guys line up a couple interviews while we're down there.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to hearing what he's got to say about the new stuff going on with the Gralien and his GrayStreet comics and anything else.
Yeah. If you haven't checked out GrayStreet yet, you should over at like I say at GralienReport.com. There's a big banner right there, or of course you could go to GralienReport.com/GrayStreet, GRAY of course, because he is based out of the U.S. where they spell gray a little differently than we do up here in Canada.
Do they spell gray as a color, like GRAY?
GRAY, yeah. Here it's GRUY.
That's kind of my nickname, Gray. It's interesting.
Is that because of all your gray hair?
No.
Oh, just checking.
Because of my name. So Caleb's also like this artist extraordinaire, right? I love these guys that have all these artistic endeavors, right? He's into the music and the drawings and the podcasting and.
Yeah, and as a musician myself, I can really connect with that. I'm gonna try making that dubstep. You guys will hear a little bit about it later on, but it sounds really interesting. Probably challenging, but something to give a whirl, I'd imagine. So I suppose without further ado, we've about summed it up here. So let's go ahead and get into our chat with Caleb, and we'll come back and sum it up after we're done. Hi guys, welcome to the Grimerica show. We got Caleb Hanks tonight from the Gralien Report, also the creator of GrayStreet webcomic. But as usual, we've got Graham with me here. How's it going tonight, Graham?
I'm doing good, excited as usual.
So how have you been, Caleb?
Doing pretty good, Darren. Thanks for having me.
So where did you get the inspiration to start GrayStreet?
Well, honestly, I will start off by saying, I'm a big supporter of the arts. I've been playing music for a really long time, and this was the first webcomic endeavor that I ever really tried to just throw myself into, not even knowing what I was doing, and just say, you know what, let's try this thing out. But I always thought, as long as Micah was doing the Gralien Report, I wasn't always a part of it because I was doing bands. I had a band called the Nova Echo, and we were kind of trying to do the band thing, but the economy was just not really rocking for us, so we decided, let's do some things that can actually pay our rent. So when I came on board with the Gralien Report after that kind of chapter had closed, I was kind of thinking of different ways that you could utilize captivating artistic expression to kind of build a little bit more of a world that people could be a part of around, the radio show as it was. And Micah had always kind of had that theatrical kind of thing about the Gralien Report where they had some little radio dramas that they'd done where Hedels, the underground humanoids, had broken into the bunker and they had to fight them off with shotguns and stuff like that. And I always thought that stuff was hilarious. So when I came on board, I decided this could be something really, really fun. And plus Micah was like, what would you think about doing like, I don't know, like a comic series? And I was like, yeah, sign me up. That sounds really, really cool. So, the whole idea is just to kind of get people involved, give them a story to follow, and just kind of make it fun for everybody. Because it can be kind of cut and dry when you're always talking about, the scientific aspects of how a ghost phenomenon or a UFO could appear. So yeah, just trying to kind of take it in that direction.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's kind of one of the things I really like about the Gralien Report, how it always has that kind of loosey-goosey touch to it at the same time. But yeah, the comic's great. I've really enjoyed it so far. You're a fabulous artist. I'll give you that for sure.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, this is like the first time that like I said, the first time I really tried to do anything like this. So the style of the art, I tried to make pretty decently simplistic. So I would get to that Monday night deadline when it's supposed to be up Tuesday, and just be like, okay, I can do this. Give me, 6 hours or so, and I'll try to crank one out. But I think for what it is, the artwork has turned out pretty appealing.
Yeah, it's got a pretty cool style to it. I like it.
Thanks.
Is it like painted and shit? Like, do you paint the mountains the gray, or is that like a...
It's actually a pretty, it's pretty interesting process. I literally sketch everything out on just like a notepad, and then I'll scan it in, and then I'll put that in Photoshop, and then I'll just color everything over. I'll just kind of like ink it, so to speak, because they would draw it in like the old comic book style, and then they would take a pen and ink it. But I do all the inking, quote unquote, digitally. And I do all that in Photoshop, and then there's like see-through layers of texture that is applied and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of it can be a little bit of a strange process getting into the workflow of it, but I think I've kind of got it down pat at this point.
Yeah, my wife's pretty good with that Photoshop shit. I'm not too prolific with it. I figured out how to change the size of pictures. That's about as far as I've got.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, when I left school, I didn't really do too well in like high school, because I'm just more of a visual kind of hands-on learner. I just wasn't very good at learning out of books, and I was super distracted by being in a classroom full of 30 other people that are just like giggling and all that sort of stuff. So I had a lot of trouble learning in school. And when I left high school and did the whole, homeschooling deal, I pretty much started learning how to design websites and learning Photoshop and stuff like that. So I've been using Photoshop for quite a while.
When did you first get in with your brother? When did he kind of lasso you into the whole Gralien? Like, have you always been into aliens and shit too, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, seriously, when Micah and I were kids, our dad had like three novels primarily. That one was Bigfoot, In Search of Bigfoot or something like that. One was about Loch Ness Monster, and one was about UFOs, and all three of them scared the ever-living crap out of us, and we loved them. And like, we just were always fascinated with like hunting for a Sasquatch or looking for a UFO or something like that. And obviously Micah kept with it pretty seriously and formed the Gralien Report. And I was always kind of behind the scenes, but I've literally been playing. I started bands back when I was 15, and I was out playing shows and going on small tours and doing that since I was like 15 up until about 2 years ago, when our band just decided finally. I was like, man, I've just done this way too long, and I just didn't even really like the lifestyle anymore. I didn't want to be on the road. I honestly hated it. And so I just decided, I'll come with Mike at a Paradigm Symposium, that the event where we met up in Minneapolis, and I'll come along and help you and, see what happens. But I mean, honestly, it really was a kind of paradigm shift moment, because I realized, like, man, there's a lot of potential for the Gralien Report, and I'm not doing anything right now. So might as well just kind of jump on and help him out. And I mean, it's been so much fun ever since I've come on board, because, I started doing the show, and very shortly after, the listenership really started reaching out to me, and they would, send me tweets and all kinds of thing like in support, and I'm like, oh wow, people actually don't hate me on the show, so that's a plus.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it was great meeting you at Paradigm, and you're just hilarious. Like you had, groups of people howling and laughing, and it's good for you to contribute to the Gralien like that too, because you've got the technical background a bit too, right? Like I don't have much of an audio technical background. Darren's like our expert on this side, but
I'm the expert on everything, actually. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely, when I was at Paradigm, I was just, because when I get around a group of people, man, the brain is going 1,000 miles an hour, and I have to embrace the humor. I tone it back a little bit for the Gralien show because you don't want it to get too zany out there. Some of the listeners are just like, it's a little much, but yeah, as far as the production end goes, I do produce the show. I fire off the music, and pretty much all of the music that we're playing on the Gralien Report, I've done by myself. Micah did the theme song, which was really, really cool, the rock theme song. But I actually, last fall, I've always been interested in electronic music. And last fall, I just decided, this is something I'm pretty passionate about. And I started taking classes with some DJs out of Vancouver, actually. A guy named DJ Vespers. And I did an online webinar with him where he just kind of goes through and shows you how to get the good sounding audio and the right compression techniques to make electronic music sound good, because one of my main projects that I've been working on, I'm still working on, and I kind of have to neglect a little bit because there's certain other priorities such as Gralien Report, but I'm putting together another web comic kind of deal called The Clerk, which is a character I've had for some time now. And I'm going to be releasing it all for free online. It's going to be a webcomic, and it's also going to be free music that people can kind of download. So there's going to be the whole immersive kind of virtual world that you can just get so into. You can, download the music, you can have it for free, and just kind of live in this kind of post-singularity crazy comic book world with, man and machine merging into one and all kinds of craziness.
That's awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah, you should send us some music, and we'll play it for you.
Oh yeah. I'm getting the first primary 3 tracks done, hopefully within the next few months. I've got a lot of the music done. Still need to write some lyrics and stuff, but as soon as I get that stuff, I will definitely send it along.
I remember at the UFO Congress, I was listening to you and Mark D'Antonio talking about how you create dubstep music, and I was just like, what the fuck are they talking about? But it was pretty fascinating getting right into the nitty-gritty of like how you actually do it. Yeah, it was
oh cool. Man, yeah. Man, Mark
No, wait, whoa, I missed that shit. How do you do that shit?
I'll tell you. It is not easy, and that's one of the funnier things about a lot of people's opinion of electronic music, and they're like, oh man, anybody can jump on a Macintosh and just, make this stuff, and it's a flash in the pan kind of music and blah, blah, blah. I've heard all kinds of people say that, and it is unassumingly difficult. I mean, it is extremely difficult, and one of the main ways that you make these signature dubstep growls that you'll hear is that you will create a vowel formant by blending sine waves, and once you create that vowel formant, one of the methods is that you can use a bit reduction, and it just kind of crushes it, and it just gives this guttural scream. And a lot of people that don't really know how it's done have asked if some of these dubstep sounds are like people actually voicing these sounds and then they manipulate them. But it's incredible how synthesizers can manipulate a vowel sound like a human voice. It's absolutely crazy.
So that's what it is you just take a couple, like basically you could just take a couple bits of human speech and manipulate them?
It doesn't even have to be human speech. There's just a frequency spectrum in which creates the vowel kind of spectrum, to put it in just a terrible explanation of how that goes. But yeah, you can do it completely with sine waves. You don't even have to use a human voice at all.
What are you just using, like Audacity or something like that?
There's a couple of synthesizers, multi-oscillating synthesizers. Native Instruments is a company that makes a lot of them. One or two of the primary ones are one called Massive and another one called FM8, and they are just incredible pieces of software. Like, they're so incredibly complex. Like, I feel like you could spend your entire life trying to learn how to use them, and you'd still not be a master of it on the day you died.
I'm gonna try that shit, man.
Yeah.
No, I love electronic music, like all different types of it. So it's kind of fascinating for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I used to play in a band myself, actually.
What did you play?
I was playing bass in the band. I can play a bit of drums, simple beats. I can play guitar, but now I got rid of all my bass stuff. Now I got myself a piano. So I've been trying to learn piano, and then I kept an acoustic guitar around.
Oh, super cool, man. Yeah, I'm actually, Micah and I play bluegrass in a band called Nitro Grass, and so I'm always out playing the mandolin, and that has been the most difficult instrument ever.
Is that what we heard MU on Mysterious Universe, little clips of your guys' music?
That's funny because that actually wasn't us. They just found some generic bluegrass band, and they're like, "This is what they play, right?"
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, about it. I didn't hear the actual clip, but Micah told me about it. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, they did it a few times.
That's awesome.
So, hey, I wanted to get back quickly to GrayStreet for a bit. So, how many issues do you have out there?
Right now, I think that we're at 15 pages so far. Just for the listeners, to get to GrayStreet, it's just gralienreport.com /GrayStreet. And
with an A.
Yeah, with an A. GRAY Street.
For our Canadian listeners, in Canada we spell gray properly.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it spelled GREY quite a few times. But yeah, we're up to 15 pages. I do it as a weekly update. It's up at 8 o'clock every Tuesday Eastern Standard Time. I don't know, I guess. Just America time on the East Coast. That's when it's up. #America.
So when are you coming out with the 50 Shades of GrayStreet episode?
That's funny because one of our other listeners was like, when are we getting 50 Shades of Gralien?
You can have Grimerica on there for that one. You can tie me up. That's okay.
We'll just get all our buddies together. We'll get Red Pill Junkie and we'll make a calendar.
As long as he's not wearing that luchador mask, that's pretty funny, eh?
Dude, he'll never. I don't think the public will ever see him without that on. But yeah, I'm shooting for either. I kind of do it as like issues. So if we ever decided we wanted to do prints, they'd be 12-page issues. And I'm thinking maybe either 3 or 4 issues per season. But it's, it'll just be an ongoing online thing that you'll be able to see every Tuesday.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. You can just build off it and then print it out, when you've got 100 pages or so, and make a little book out of it even.
Yeah, I think something like that would translate nicely to, a little magazine or graphic novel thing. If you were to get a couple seasons together, turn it into one coffee table book or something, that could be pretty fun.
So how long have you been doing the Gralien now with Micah? Since November or so?
Well, directly after Paradigm Symposium, which was in mid to late October last year, I kind of sat in as the silent producer. I would just kind of take care of the feed and make sure that everything was sounding good. And when you have baby Hadels chewing at the wires in your bunker, there's like few things that you have to keep up on. But when a couple months after that, I came on board because the other guys had some stuff going on, and I think that was in February, maybe. I could be wrong, maybe January, but ever since then, I've been going strong.
So now that you've had to actually focus on the Gralien, I mean, even though you've been interested in these topics before, has your view changed at all, or has your your perception of everything changed?
Not really, because I'm always in contact with my brother, and we're always talking about this stuff. Micah's last book, The UFO Singularity, I mean, some of the way that the whole idea and the concept of singularity came to us was actually ridiculously synchronistic and strange, and there was a lot of weird things kind of happening around us within the time. And so he and I were both like really super in touch, talking about all these crazy concepts of, you know, the potential merge of humanity and technology and stuff like that. And so, you know, when it comes to some of the more cryptozoological aspects, you know, I try to stay as open-minded as I possibly can. Is there a Bigfoot out there? I'm not sure. If he is out there, that would be super awesome. I think we can all agree. UFOs, it's the same thing. Micah and I, we, you know, feel pretty... I mean, we pretty much see eye to eye on all of those subjects. So when I came into it, I pretty much had the same perception of it all, but I will say, you know, being within the world, you definitely get learned on a lot of things, and especially when you're sitting there listening to Micah Hanks every day, you know.
Yeah, and some of the guests too, right? Talking to some of the guests.
Totally. Oh yeah. I mean, man, I can't even think.
Micah's kind of a founding father of Grimerica. Actually, not the Paradigm Symposium for you too, because it's funny that you say the Paradigm Symposium is kind of when you kind of shifted into this world, because that's kind of when the footwork really got laid for us and starting the podcast and starting the website and everything too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing this thing, man. It sounds fun.
We figured why the fuck not, right? We get to talk to people and just have a good time.
Yeah, and I want to talk to people too, and just like throw it out there that it's okay to talk about this stuff, right? It's okay to talk about, you know, spirituality and meditation, and I'm more of a new agey type and all that, but also UFOs and cryptids and everything else that we discussed, you know, not in a total, you know, one-sided way, but, you know, being healthfully skeptical, but just that it's okay now. Like when I walk around and I meet people and I, you know, in normal life, I can talk about this stuff now, and the ridicule factor is almost gone, I think, like, yeah, at least in my day-to-day life. So, you know, it's nice to be able to chat with it to other people.
Oh yeah, I think that was what was super cool about Paradigm Symposium, is because you could walk around and talk to people you'd never met before, and it was just like, we're at Paradigm Symposium. It's already on the table that we're interested in some strange stuff. So it's like you could literally just talk to anybody about anything, and it was just like this kind of homecoming for people that were interested in all that stuff. And like, I don't know, I think that's why there was so much appeal to the whole thing. So, you know, and you know, I'm right there with you with being just kind of like open-minded about everything, because one of the things that I was wanting to talk about tonight in regard to GrayStreet is just the whole kind of because, you know, I'm not a transhumanist, or I'm not like a singularitarian as some people call, but I will say that I'm a futurist, and I'm excited to see what the future brings, and why I think that doing something artistic is very important too, just as a society and economically and technology goes. It's really kind of furthering, because I was always looking at that scene in Star Wars when R2-D2 projects the little hologram and it says, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." And I was thinking, man, there is some super genius out there right now that saw that scene, and he's making that, and it's probably going to be on the iPhone in 5 years. So, you know, I was thinking like, man, you know, art is really important too, inspiring people, and then you get these developers out there that are actually trying to make these things, and then these innovations become reality. I mean, just the fact that we have like touchscreen interface readily available on these devices that we call cell phones, when the least thing that they do is make a phone call. I mean, it's incredible, man. I love seeing where it's going.
Yeah, everything starts from a thought, right? Everything starts from a creative thought, and then from there it becomes material. So yeah, it's I envy, like, I've never really been the artistic type, so this is kind of interesting doing this for me, because it does force you to be a little bit creative. But I envy artists like yourself who are into all kinds of expression through music and visual art and all kinds of media. Like, you have to kind of have this attitude of confidence and not really caring what people think.
Oh yeah. Definitely got to have a tough skin, and especially when you put yourself out there on like a podcast and stuff, because, man, everybody's got an opinion, and sometimes it's stuff you don't want to hear, but, you know, you can't let the negativity get to you, and you can't completely you can't completely just write off what somebody says, even if it is true. You can critique yourself healthily in the right ways, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. There'll always be fucking trolls out there.
Yeah.
We've been lucky, actually. So far, we haven't got any hate mail. I'm sure some's on the way for sure. But it's just a matter of time until I put my foot in my mouth on some sort of a level.
Well, we're all human for the time being. And
till 2023, or no, what was it? 2035?
2029.
2029.
Fuck, we used to have that countdown on the website, but we don't have it since we went to WordPress. I'm going to put it back up. The countdown to the singularity.
Definitely some interesting stuff, man.
On that note, I think let's take a quick break. You guys don't mind if we take a quick break, eh?
No, it's all good.
Okay, we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be back with more with Caleb Hanks of the Gralien Report, creator of GrayStreet. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back with more with Caleb Hanks of the Gralien Report, creator of GrayStreet, and a prominent musician. So you said you started playing in regular gigging bands when you were around 15?
Yeah. Actually, the same day my dad became an ordained priest in the Episcopalian Church, I literally left the ceremony and went downtown and played the first rock show I ever played. I was playing drums at the time with a band that was me and all girls. The band was called Betty's Witch Cake. Great band name.
That's awesome.
But from there on, I played in all kinds of bands. I played bass in a ska band called Dawn of the Dude, which was another terrible band name.
Wow, that is bad.
Yeah, Alternative Press magazine. To us, the band was a big joke, but they put us in the top 10 worst album titles of all time, or of 2000, whatever it was, because we had an album come out on Ort Records, which was a subsidiary of Lobster Records, and the album was called International Time Travel with Magical Babes. I wonder why they had a problem with that.
That sounds pretty cool to me. I don't know why that would be so bad.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it's somewhere on the internet. You could probably find it. And then I was in a band called the Nova Echo, which was kind of that project I was talking about, The Clerk, that I'm going to be doing online. I'd had that idea since I was like 16 years old. I'm 27 now, and the Nova Echo was kind of a side project of The Clerk, because I'd been doing songs as The Clerk in home recordings forever, but now I'm just kind of turning it into something a bit more serious. But I was with a band called the Nova Echo, and we toured a decent amount. We played Camp Bisco in Albany, New York, which is the Disco Biscuits big crazy festival. And I mean, just lots of people doing lots of substances and scaring the living crap out of me. But it was pretty fun. But yeah, after that, I just kind of decided I didn't want to try to waste my time getting into the industry, because it is kind of changing now. And then I sat around for a year just kind of hanging out like, hey, I'm not playing music anymore. And then I decided I was like the guy from the Hurt Locker and couldn't not be in a band. So me and a bunch of my friends from high school just recently started a ska band called Crazy Tom Banana Pants. I'm really good at band names.
Yes. Do you ever see Betty and the Witch Cakes around at all?
I do. I'm actually friends with pretty much all of them.
That's cool.
I'm not even going to say what my old band was called.
Oh, come on.
No, there's
Come
zero
on.
chance. No.
What, really?
No, seriously, I'm not saying. Not on the air. Never. I'll tell you off the air, but I'll tell you at Paradigm Symposium, Caleb.
All right. Sounds good, man.
It was fucked up.
Was that the band name, or is that just how you're describing it?
That's how I'm describing it, yeah. But it definitely is something people could take offense to.
Ah, I see.
Are you coming to Paradigm this year?
Oh, yeah, man. I'll be there.
You'll be a big part of it, I suppose, this year.
I probably will. I'm not exactly sure what I have as far as duties, but I'll definitely be a big part of the production. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait to see everybody again.
Yeah, I like that my duties are 0.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I think you'll have duties. You kind of had duties last year too, but dirty duties.
Just a bit of grass, man.
So that's Paradigm Symposium 2013 we're talking about, right? Same place, Minnesota?
Indeed.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah.
And the lineup looks really good this year. I'm looking forward to checking everybody out.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of people up there this year. It's going to be a little different as far as the scope of what people are talking about, as to where last year's was more focused towards Ancient Aliens, but I think it's still going to be super entertaining. I don't have all the details as I am one of the peons, but I'm sure Micah has some more details about that.
John Ward's coming back though, right?
Oh, I'm sure he is. He was everybody's favorite.
Yeah, he was great.
I know RPJ's coming for sure. We've been talking to him quite a bit lately, so
yeah, man.
He said he'll be there with bells with a luchador mask on, probably.
Yeah, I'm excited about that because I introduced the RPJ character into GrayStreet, and I've just been having so much fun with it because, I don't know, like RPJ, the first time I met him, and I'm sure the first time you guys met him, when I saw him, I had always heard about this guy, Red Pill Junkie, in the blog sphere. Like, I just heard of him. He was like this notorious dude, and I see this damn near 7 foot tall dude in a big red luchador mask walk up, and I just started cackling, man. I was like, this is so awesome. It was like meeting a real life superhero, because it's somebody that's notorious and you hear about him for so long, and then you see it and you're like, wow, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember that crystal clear. Yeah, him walking in the back of the conference. I'm like, that must be RPJ.
I had met him previously, so.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. Or no, maybe. Yeah, I did. I knew him before. Did I? No, maybe I didn't. No, because I met him. Yeah, I did. I think I met him in the bar downstairs.
Yeah.
I was buying a drink.
What a shocker!
Hey, man, what the fuck is that supposed to be? And yeah, he asked. I forget how it happened, but anyway, we started talking about nicknames, and mine came up, and he asked if I was the one from Mysterious Universe. Then he gave me a big Mexican hug. It was great.
So did you listen to last week's interview with Peter Robbins then? I guess so. You were probably right there, right? On your Gralien?
Oh, yeah. I was there.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was fascinating, the way he was talking about the start of the ridicule factor going all the way back to 1947.
Oh, yeah, man, he's a super nice guy, and he's super knowledgeable. That's one of the things that I liked about Peter, is that he's skeptical in his roots, but he's not what Micah calls a snark dick. He's not one of these dudes that's going to be rude to you about it. It's just that he's, grounded himself in, what he can take away from, not being a sensationalist as soon as you see something bizarre, I love that.
Yeah, and he's one of these guys that puts in the hours and hours of research, right? He'll piece together all these articles like that he talked about. He went to the New York Times and read like hundreds and hundreds of articles over and over again to try and get some, some trend out of it. And,
oh, yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm thinking, geez, 1947, the summer of 47, Roswell, the Cold War started in the CIA shortly after that. Like, what a coincidence that is.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you had anything else? Have you had anything strange happen to you?
Over the years, I've experienced a few slightly strange things. I think that most of them have just kind of been odd little synchronicities. The only time that I ever saw anything as far as like a UFO, and when I say UFO, I do not mean a craft piloted by aliens from another planet. I just mean a flying object that I cannot identify immediately. I was out west with a couple of friends, and we were driving through. I think we were driving from Texas into New Mexico that day, fittingly New Mexico, and and I was laying in the back seat, kind of napping, and I was just looking up at the sky, and way up in the sky, there was this thing that looked like a huge, like a barbell, like a dumbbell, like a weight you would use in the weight room, just floating way super high up in the air. I was like, well, that's curious looking. So I just kind of nodded off and fell asleep. And when I woke up about 2 hours later, my friend and his dad up in the front were talking about it. They were like pointing up in the sky and looking at this thing going, man, what is that? And I looked up and I was like, yeah, I was looking at the thing a minute ago. And then I realized that 2 hours had passed. We had driven from Texas into New Mexico, driven, quite a few miles. And this thing was still up in the air. And you could see it perfectly. And I'm thinking like, well, unless this plane or whatever it is has been flying along with us this whole time, that's a little bizarre, So I don't know to this day what that was, but it's probably one of the only things that I could say was like a UFO, so to speak.
That's interesting. What did your the other people with you think it was?
They didn't know. They had no idea. I mean, we all just kind of came to the conclusion that it was some sort of weird-looking blimp or some sort of weird weather balloon. Nobody was able to really conclusively say what they thought it was.
Therefore, aliens.
Therefore, aliens.
So, who's the most interesting person you've got to talk to so far, being part of the Gralien Report?
Gosh, man. Paradigm was one thing. Super incredible people out there. The late, great Philip Coppens.
Right.
God rest his soul, man. He was so cool.
Yeah.
He was so super cool. And some of the people, when we were out at the UFO Congress in Arizona, that was super fun. Graham, I remember at one point sneaking up on you. Do you remember that?
Where was I?
We were outside a ballroom, and I just walked up super close. Yeah. You turned around like, wow, where did you come from? But yeah, man. One of my favorite people that I met out there was Mark D'Antonio, and we had him on the Gralien Report just a few weeks ago. And man, some of the stuff that he told us, he told the story on the podcast about being on a submarine and seeing what was called a fast mover, which is this thing they pick up on the radar that's underwater. It's flying, man. It's going so fast, and the guy that's watching the radio just says to the colonel, "Sir, we have a fast mover," and he says, "All right, document it."
Yeah, dog it and log it or something like that.
Yeah, dog it and log it, and Mark asked the guy, like, "Can you tell me anything more about these fast movers?" And the only thing the guy said was, "Are you having fun on the submarine?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Good." Wasn't going to say anything else about it. So, I mean, God, there's a ton of people, but Mark D'Antonio is probably one of the coolest, most interesting dudes. I mean, it gets into some crazy stuff talking to him.
I agree with you 100%. He's kind of on the top of my list too for the guys I've met recently. Like, I remember you guys talking about, musical instruments, and we were talking about the didgeridoo and how it can alter your consciousness. I mean, just getting into all these crazy topics with a guy like that. I mean, he's just into so many different things.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. And, I guess this is a little off topic, but while I'm here, I did have a little bit of breaking news to share with you guys.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if anything's new.
In the realm of the Gralien, there's always some new development, but this one is a pretty big deal. We, just a few days ago, signed the contracts. We are going to be doing another radio program. It's going to be on the KGRA radio network. It's going to be called the Micah Hanks radio program, and that is going to be every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. And it's going to be fun, man. We are really excited to be jumping on with the KGRA guys, and Race there, who kind of runs everything, is just a super positive guy, and we're just super stoked to work with everybody. So we're hoping this show's going to go off with a bang.
So are we gonna be able to get access to that in the regular Gralien show feed, or will we need to get a new feed?
What's gonna be the deal with that is Gralien Report is gonna stay exactly how it is. The new show it's gonna go. If you listen to it live, you can catch it, like I said, from 8 to 10 o'clock. But I believe the podcasts are going to be available to subscribers, but after a certain period of time, they'll be to the public for free. So it will be a somewhat exclusive thing, but after a time period, then you'll be able to listen to any backlogged show for free.
Oh, I think we'll be signing up for that.
Heck yeah, man.
And then Gralien will still be on Tuesdays. You'll keep that going, so that'll be a pretty busy couple days for you guys.
Yeah, it is what it is. We were talking about doing another show for a little while, and when KGRA approached us about it, we just said, you know what, I think this feels right, and we're just gonna jump into it. Why not?
So, what are you guys going to talk about? The same type of stuff, or are you going to be more into mainstream news topics, that type of thing?
It's gonna be similar to Gralien Report, but the focus is going to be a little different as to where with Gralien we focus on the goblins and Bigfoots and UFO and stuff like that. But with this, I think we're going to be looking a little bit more at, conspiracy theory, exopolitics, that kind of stuff, a bit of the paranormal stuff, but because I think that there's this kind of wave happening where people are starting to look at conspiracy theory a bit more in depth because, we just found out through some recent scandals that people are being monitored vigorously through their cell phone providers, and people are starting to look at that in mass being like, what the hell is going on? And so I think it's time to start criticizing the way things are being run a little bit more.
Yeah, something's definitely opening up with the mainstream media. Like, I'm shocked at how they're covering this, and the last few things you guys have been talking about too, like the Benghazi thing and the IRS thing. Like, there's all these scandals that are kind of making us people that used to talk about this stuff not look so crazy anymore. But it's definitely opening up.
Totally. So yeah, we're super amped on it. Can't wait to start. I think we're going to be doing the first show on Sunday, July the 7th.
Wow, that's right away. That's like, what, 3 weeks? 3 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, so we're trying to get in as much promotion as we possibly can here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely link to it in the show notes as well, so that people can click right over and find it. You'll have to email me all the info on it.
Yeah, definitely. We can do that.
Yeah, one thing I like about you guys talking every Tuesday on the Gralien is how you bring up some of the news topics, and it's part of my kind of weekly dose of what's going on down there in America.
Yeah,
I have a hard time. Well, I don't have a lot of time, but keeping up on the mainstream news is a challenge for me in many ways.
Oh yeah, I think that's another thing too about certain podcasts. Like, when I started doing podcasting, I never thought that I would really get into like listening to podcasts, but that's the thing. It's like you kind of have these little, as to where you can pick up pieces of news here and there from sporadic entities on the internet, which to whatever you're choosing. It's kind of nice to have something that's just kind of funneling it all down to one channel, and you can just kind of get cliff notes. So yeah, I appreciate the format too. My brother's one of those guys that can kind of look at the big picture and piece it together pretty well. And it's definitely helpful for me.
Is there any other podcasts you really like other than the Gralien Report and the Grimerica show, obviously?
Oh man, dude, I'm wearing my Grimerica t-shirt right now. I made it myself. I made it with like that sparkly glue. It's a pretty wide range. I do a lot of driving in my line of work. I mean, we're a regionally touring bluegrass band for most of the time, so it ranges. It can go from like something that's political, like the No Agenda show. I don't know. Oh
yeah, I fucking love the No Agenda show, buddy.
No Agenda's great, man. Adam Curry has an incredible, uncanny ability to put together some narratives that you just wouldn't pick up on.
What did you think of that Adobe shit?
Oh man, that one was incredible. I mean, I think that the link between what he was talking about, how Steve Jobs had fought so hard to keep Flash out of Apple.
And then he got cancer.
I know. I mean, that's, you can jump out and say whatever you want. I won't say that I think that somebody did that to him, that some big entity did, but it is an interesting coincidence. And I will say, just in the regard that, and Adam Curry brought this up, how many people do you see that are up on the higher echelon of the economic society that get cancer and die from it,
Yeah, and then fucking Buddy from Adobe went over there to work for Apple all of a sudden.
Pretty crazy stuff. So, and like I try to look at things when I'm on the Gralien, I try to stay in the middle and don't get too far out there. But when you see weird little inconsistencies like that, it's a good exercise, I think, to just note it and keep it in the back of your mind and say, that's interesting. If something else pops up that you can really tie it all together, and then, there you go. But also on the same vein, like I'll listen to a podcast called Nothing to Write Home About, that's like punk rockers that have lived through the dawn of not being able to sell CDs and like what they're doing now. I mean, it's just interesting to me hearing these guys talk about that I used to like listen to in bands. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Like the No Agenda show is another one of those great, funnels of information that you don't have to go out and really search for yourself. And you can kind of take their theories for what they are, or just, buy into it all together. I try to stay skeptical, but I think that show's great, man. I think it's really informative, and it's really well thought out. Plus, those guys are just hilarious.
Yeah, it's hard to listen to normal terrestrial radio now. Like, I really can't listen to normal radio. Like, I've got access to whatever I want to listen to in whatever genre at any time, so...
Except during Flame season. Gotta love me some Calgary Flames, buddy. I guess you guys don't really give a shit about hockey in North Carolina, though.
What's hockey?
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, eh?
This is my fault. I actually... Dude, I never understood sports. If anybody knows what I look like, I'm a lanky, skinny guy that got the crap beat out of him on the soccer field back in grade school. So I was the guy sitting back there trying to learn how to play guitar.
So did you see that shit about that 700-pound snake in North Carolina?
Was that real?
I thought it was real.
I haven't seen the story, but that's a big snake. I'll check it out. I mean... If I ever see a 700-pound snake, I will probably implode and die, because that's terrifying.
I'm just looking for that link now. I think I sent it to your brother, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it's nowhere near me. That would be awful. Did they kill it?
I can't find it yet. I bet you it's in my Thunderbird shit here. One sec.
Now that's something. If you guys ever dig up the Thunderbird picture, that thing's been missing. It's in the same warehouse as the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, I use Thunderbird for email just because it has that cool fucking name. I think that's what it's called, Thunderbird. Yeah, it's got to be.
So what else is new on Gralien then?
Well, I'm always... I'll give you guys a little sneak peek into the plot of GrayStreet if you'd like.
Yeah.
So Micah has been going down, and this is the thing that I try to do with GrayStreet. And I won't even tell you what aspects are slightly real and what aspects are. I mean, obviously, certain things are just impossible that happen in the webcomic, but there is a lot that happens in the webcomic that actually happens in real life. Like when you see Tyler's character walking down the street with that little electronic cigarette in his mouth, that's because he always has that electronic cigarette in his mouth.
Really?
One of the lines where he's talking about a advanced race of intelligent, technologically advanced squids, highly unlikely, he says something along the lines of just like mummies in ancient sarcophaguses, highly unlikely. Well, we knew Tyler back in the day. We've known him for years, and he and I actually played in a band together when we were teenagers. And we used to make short films, and one of his famous lines in our home movies was, "Mummies in ancient sarcophaguses? Highly unlikely." So I had to throw that in there. But you know, I try to throw in a lot of stuff in GrayStreet that's like pretty much reality, and I just kind of like to keep people guessing. if I have fans, I don't know. I would imagine maybe just some of the listeners of the Gralien that's seen the stuff, like how much of this stuff really goes on. And there's going to be some really fun developments with our friend Red Pill Junkie and some Hedel creatures. And yeah, it's gonna get crazy because I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a phenomena that happens near us called the Brown Mountain Lights.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, Mike has been doing a lot of research into that stuff lately, and so I am going to kind of allude in GrayStreet to exactly what is causing the Brown Mountain Lights, and that's the thing that I like about GrayStreet is that we get to take the mythos of these things that we've been hearing about forever, like Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster or what have you, and just kind of even more so immortalize these characters and have some fun with it because. With a character like a Bigfoot, there's already a built-in fan base to it because it's like such a well-known creature in the mythology, if you want to call it that. He might even be a real dude walking around out there eating Jack Link's beef jerky. But, you know, I think that people can kind of relate to these creatures a little bit. And maybe if you're a fan of the movie The Descent, you'll understand the Hedel stuff a little bit more. But I don't know. I'm going to make some likable ones and then some not-so-likable ones. And RPJ is really not going to like the not so likable ones. That's what I'm going to let you know.
We know all about Hedels up here, buddy.
In fact, there's a couple next door.
Yeah, little pricks.
I think, didn't Micah say he was going to write a book on the Brown Mountain Lights? Or?
Yeah, he's currently working on one, so.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
Here's that shit on that snake. Yeah, 98 feet long.
That's fake.
Wow. Did it say what kind of snake it was?
It's a big snake.
The big variety.
Somebody it looks fake. Python, it's hanging from like 4 stories above the people.
Reticulated python.
Somebody flush a python down the toilet and then it turns into some Lake Placid scenario.
Was there a snake in Lake Placid?
No, but it was the giant alligator. I'm just substituting the alligator for a snake.
They kill via constriction, it says that. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't say. I guess it could be fake, but I don't know. That's pretty realistic.
Ridiculous to me.
The second picture looks real, but it could be photoshopped for sure.
Yeah,
you'd probably be a better judge of that than us, but
yeah, I'll have to look it up for sure. I mean, it's incredible what's making it like what people are able to do with programs like Photoshop and Blender, which is a computer animation program. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it a little while back. This video was blowing up on the internet of a kid getting picked up by a bald eagle. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Well, it looked believable enough, but it was completely computer generated, and it was somebody's like college project. But it was like blowing up on the internet. And it was so convincing that there was a lot of people being like, "Holy crap, this kid got picked up by a freaking eagle." That doesn't happen every day. But
yeah, I think I heard of that. I didn't check it out though.
That's and that's like I love talking about it because I just love technology. I sat and watched the last Mac keynote the other day, and I was just like jumping for joy. But that is a sign as to how advanced technology is actually becoming, and if you look into it very much and the ideas of the singularity, technology is growing exponentially. There is no doubt about it. And that is why, around 10 years ago, we had these glorified calculators for cell phones. And now we have completely touch screen interface and all that crap. So it's just like, man, this stuff is happening quick.
Yeah, it changes ufology too, because, you can't, there's so much crap out there now. You can't really prove a picture or video is real. You can just prove it's fake, right? I remember hearing that back in the mid 90s, right? They're saying that, and it's still true. So I wonder if like multiple witness testimony will become more sort of important as we go on.
Definitely. I mean, everybody's got a camera pretty much on their phone, and so if something does, pop out in the sky, there's reporters all over the place. Not, like traditional reporters, but the people are the reporters. And, there's more of an opportunity to catch a real UFO. But also, like I was saying, I mean, Blender is a free computer animation program that you can do basically everything that Pixar does. And if you just have an aptitude towards being able to work a program like that, you can hoax a UFO any day of the week and throw that up on YouTube, and hundreds of thousands of people could believe it's real. It's just it's a time where you really got to keep a keen eye out for BS. Just make sure what you're looking at is, by your best judgment, legitimate.
We're the bullshit police.
Heck yeah, man.
Mars One, bullshit. Graham says he's going, but I say it's bullshit. I've been trying to get someone on for an interview now for a while too, and they just don't respond.
Didn't Justin Bieber say he was going?
He can go. I'm okay with that. You guys can have him.
I was going to say, if Justin Bieber goes, are you going to go, Graham?
Yeah, I might change my mind.
I'm stuck on it. What if it was just you guys? Like, wow, I went to Mars.
Just you and Bieber? I want exclusive rights in the podcast.
Leave it to Bieber.
Well, I suppose we should wrap up here. One more time, is there anything you want to plug before we go? Other than obviously GrayStreet, we'll link to that in the show notes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening, check out GrayStreet. It's pretty fun. Also, if you want to find out more about us, it's just GralienReport.com. And contact us, email us if you want. If you got some crazy stories, we're always reading people's stories on the air and talking about it. So hit us up. We'd love to hear from you.
And when does the new show start?
The new show will start on Sunday, July 7th. And that is going to be, if you live on the East Coast in America, Eastern Standard Time.
America.
But yeah, America. Oh, America.
And then, of course, people can find you at Caleb Hanks on Twitter.
Yeah, at Caleb Hanks on Twitter. If you want to see the strange ramblings of a madman, sometime I post my Vine videos on there, and that's just an avenue for me to act like a crazy person when I'm bored. So fun stuff.
Very cool. All right, man. Well, that was. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great talking to you guys.
And that was our chat with Caleb Hanks from the Gralien Report, creator of GrayStreet, and a great musician as well. Makes all the music for the Gralien Report, and he's in a traveling band and the whole nine yards. So, what did you think, Graham? Caleb's a truly fascinating individual.
Yeah, like I said to him in the chat, I admire his artistic ability. Like, he's one of those true artists, like, of all types. And I'm sure we'll be keeping up with those guys in the next little while, the symposiums. And it's interesting how he got involved at the same time we did.
Yeah, we definitely have that in common. The Paradigm Symposium seemed to truly be a paradigm shift for quite a few people. So
it's good to hear those guys doing some extra stuff and start up another show, and it's cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the no shoot. You can always have a more Gralien gang fix for sure. And I was kind of waiting for those guys to do something subscription based, because they've been around long enough and they've got a good enough show that I think it's perfect. So I'm sure we'll subscribe as soon as we can.
And what do we got coming up?
Next will probably be Scotty Roberts. He did The Rise of the Nephilim, I think.
Rise and Fall of the Nephilim?
Yeah, The Rise and Fall of the Nephilim. And then he's got his new Reptilian book as well. We'll be talking about that too.
And we'll have RPJ coming on with him?
Yeah, RPJ is coming on for that as well. And then after that, will probably be Robbie Graham from Silver Screen Saucers will be coming back on, or coming on since we pushed him back.
All right. Well, I guess that's.
And then, of course, did you go out and did you buy
Brotherhood of the Screaming Abyss?
Yeah, did you buy that yet?
No. I went to a bookstore to try and get it.
They didn't have it?
No. They can't even order it, so.
You got to get it on eBay, dude.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Yeah, it's good. I think I'm like 120 pages in or something. And then, so we'll have Dennis McKenna coming up probably, I'd say, by July 10th or by the middle of July. I can't wait for that. That'll be a real fun one too. But on that note, I suppose we might as well wrap it up. Hey, Graham, you got anything else you want to add before we hit the road?
No, that's about it.
Okay, we'll have links to Caleb's band, the Gralien Report, to GrayStreet. Actually, I think I might even put a permanent link to the GrayStreet down at the bottom of Grimerica page with Mysterious Universe and Gralien Report and all the other links. I'll throw GrayStreet up there just as well. Might as well.
Yeah.
And we'll have links to all the music you heard in this episode as well. So have a good one, guys, and we'll see you when we see you. Microphone check, microphone check.
Check.
We'll talk louder than that, dude.
Yeah, I need to do a regular conversation check.
Yeah, exactly. That's better. Talk like big boy voice.
Big boy voice.
Big boy voice.
Big boy voice.